not to waste our time. All right. So basically, every speaker is going to have about 20 minutes to talk about this topic and what he or she feels we can put in place. What measures can you put in place to ensure that we have prevention of such disasters in our building industry, right? So everyone is going to talk based on their own expertise and their knowledge in the building sector. So
So
continue,
yes,
Abdullah.
yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Farouk. So Dr. Salahuddin is a successful chartered insurance practitioner and real estate investment advisor with track record spanning over 4 decades experience in the global insurance marketplace, and frontline leader in placement and management of various insurance risks, including various insurance risks, including but not limited to oil and gas, aviation and space, special risk, kidnapping and ransom, marine hull cargo, protection and indemnity, construction operational, amazing, agriculture, life and passion, etc. with brand industry experience in insurance, reinsurance, loss adjusting, claims management, and versed in delivering key strategic initiatives and emerging market developments. He's a graduate of College of Insurance Service in Surrey, having qualified as a chartered insurance practitioner in the year 1976. He's an associate member of the Chartered Insurance Institute of London, a fellow Chartered Insurance Institute of Nigeria, and a fellow and Council Institutes of London, a fellow Chartered Insurance. In fact, Dr. Ahmed Salahuddin has a lot of, I don't even think I'm going to cover this. Well, let me just fast forward to in the year 2017, 2018, and 2019. In the year 2017, 2018, and 2019 in Dubai, Hong Kong, and Malaysia, respectively, he was honored by the World Confederation of Businesses World Cup with the World Leader Business Person Award among the beneficiaries from all over the world. Dr. Salahuddin is a full member of Global Club of Leaders and honorable member, European Business Assembly, having fulfilled all the necessary requirements under the auspices of the Socrates Committee in Oxford, United Kingdom. In the year 2020, Dr. Salahuddin took advantage of COVID-19. Amazing. COVID-19 lockdown to achieve a feat in his passion of real estate management and development. He is the Chief Property Investment Advisor for Signature Global Real Estate LLC, having certified by the Dubai Real Estate Institute under the supervision of Government of Dubai. Dr. Salahuddin was featured in Dubai Expo commemorative edition in Titan of Africa, a publication of the UAE African Networking Group, which consists iconic accomplishments and success stories of 25 prominent Africans in United Arab Emirates. As a result of innovative ideas and tremendous achievements, he brought to bear in presiding over many successful businesses in and outside of Africa. He was nominated for a Lifetime Achievement Award of Excellence of the forthcoming Forbes Africa UAE Trade and Investment Forum due on 21st November 2021. Right. A passionate leader with first-class communication skills, with extensive knowledge of global insurance development and regulatory issues. His personal goal is to be associated with the growth of sustainable businesses by providing exemplary services and exceeding the expectation of clients and his peers. He's happily married with children. In fact, I'm super amazed when it comes to the achievements of Dr. Ahmed Salahuddin. I've met him once, and not once, twice, and I must really say is I don't know, is that global impact we've been looking for. I've heard him speak, and I'm really amazed at kind of leaders we have. people who will look up to. So he's going to be handling the insurance aspects, what you need to understand when it comes to development of projects in Dubai. Because I'm just wondering, this 21st story building that got collapsed recently, what if it doesn't have an insurance? How do we get over this? Hi, Daddy. Hello, sir.
Yeah. First and foremost, can I say good evening to everybody wherever you are?
Yes.
In Dubai here, it's very dark. I'm sure down there you are still in the afternoon, all the same.
Yes.
I'm taking this opportunity to say good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are listening to us. My name is Dr. Ahmed Olani Salauddin, and thank you very much, Abisola. You need not to have gone to that length anyway, but it's okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. My name is Dr. Ahmed Salauddin. I am the Chief Servant Officer of Standard Insurance Consultant Limited. The Standard Insurance Consultant Limited is an insurance organization registered, licensed by the National Insurance Commission, NICOM, as of 1st of June, 1980. And as I'm speaking to you now, Standard Insurance is over 41 years conducting professional insurance, reinsurance business, both locally and internationally. The Standard Insurance Consultants were one of the 5 top insurance brokers in the country. And in addition to what Bisola has said, by the grace of God, tomorrow, 13th November 2021, Standard Insurance has been nominated by this business day as the insurance broker of the year. So by tomorrow, this will probably be transmitted live. Of course, I will not be there, but I will be represented by the grace of God by a professional team in my office. Therefore, the Standard Insurance Consultants have been in business providing insurance solutions not only to the public, but including insurance organizations whereby we provide reinsurance program for their insurances. As you know, insurance in itself is a spread of risk. Today, the subject matter of our discussion is very important, and on a very sad note, I'm sorry to have heard about the collapse of the 21-story building, and at this moment, I will only say and pray that the soul that has been lost in that incident, may their soul rest in perfect peace. Now then, I think it is very important, Bisola and the team, the need to consider a comprehensive insurance cover in the construction industry. I will try to limit myself without going into the insurance jargon of insurance. I will make it as simple as possible so that each and everybody can understand what the insurance is all about. The need for insurance in the insurance building construction cannot be overemphasized because it provides financial compensation to the contractor, to the developer, for the cost of restoration of work following an unfortunate accident event leading to a loss of damage, which can happen at any time. Therefore, at this stage, there is the need for us to consider one thing which is very important: specialists. Specialists are very important in anything we are doing. For example, if you have heart problem, the first port of call is a cardiologist. If you have teeth problem, you need to contact a dentist. If you have skin problem, there is the need for you to go to a dermatologist, and on and on and on and on and that. Therefore, talking about insurance, there is the need to go to a specialist, professional people who knows much about insurance. Insurance is a very, very tricky business. And you will see that in most cases, the only professional people that can tell to this is the professional insurance brokers. Therefore, when a contractor, a developer is proposing, listen to me, proposing to embark on a project, the first thing is to have in place a professional insurance broker that will be able to analyze what are the risk implications, what type of insurance program should be put in place, what should be done, and at the end of the day, to be sure that the professional broker, in case of an insured event, he will be able to get any claim on that particular policy. Therefore, the position of an insurance broker in the circumstances is very key. And for the interest of who are listening to me, federal government of Nigeria has done very well. If you look back at history, the government has put in place an act of parliament through the National Insurance Commission, Insurance Act of 2003. I want you to listen to that very well. Insurance Act of 2003 has mandated that anybody, whoever you are, if you want to construct any building more than 2 stories, you must have a comprehensive insurance in place, particularly for a third-party risk. Therefore, the government has done their part, but whether they are looking into this or enforcing the law is a different matter altogether. Therefore, before any person starts construction of any building, there must be insurance in place. The question is, what are the type of insurance cover required to protect a financial loss? Don't let us forget, we are looking at losses that can emanate from construction business. And as I said earlier, if you have a professional broker will be able to analyze at this juncture. Let me explain. Insurance is a 3-legged race. One, you have the broker in the middle, you have the insured on one part, you have the underwriter on the other part. The middle one, which is the intermediary, is the one that is going to look into what the client's requirements is, be able to tell the risk carrier what the risk is. The risk carrier will be able to analyze and put a price on what the contractor will pay as premium in return for providing insurance cover. Because of time at our disposal, in this type of scenario we are talking about, generally, the insurance cover required is contractor or risk insurance cover. Contractor or risk insurance cover is very key. And what does it cover? The contractor already provide cover to the contractor, the developer, and those involved in the building process. The policy provides financial, listen to me, financial compensation to the insured for the cost of restoration in case there is collapse or any accident in respect of the work, following unforeseen circumstances which has happened, either by accident, either it's flood, earthquake, hurricane, as the case may be. The idea is to be able to provide cover to minimize loss or damage what has happened. A good insurance broker having a standard contractor or risk may be extended to cover. In addition, the contract works up to the expected value of the building. A third-party liability damage to bodily injury, you will understand. After the collapse of the building, according to what I was told, number of people died in that incident. If there's a good insurance in place, the insurance will cover this. There is contractor, you have plant, equipment, many other things on site. The contractor or risk insurance policy will also cover this. And not only that, if you are constructing a building, it may not be a standalone. You may have adjacent properties. And like I was told, the collapse of this 21-story building has affected other buildings, the structure of other buildings. That is a very great colossal loss, because at the end of the day, if the structure of those buildings has been affected, it may come to the point that they have to pull down all the buildings. This will be a lot of financial losses. And then you have what is known as off-site storage facility. The insurance policy can cover that as well. In addition, the policy can be extended to provide compensation for cost of removal of debris. A 21-story building that collapsed, whether they like it or not, the debris has to be removed. The cost of that, insurance cover can cater for that. In addition, if another story building want to be reconstructed, there is what is known as professional fees. The engineers, the architects, the everything, cover can be provided as well. And cover can be provided either on a reinstatement basis or otherwise, maybe, but majority I know prefer to have the extension of reinstatement basis. Therefore, as far as loss or damage is concerned, those are the best way insurance can be arranged. But like I said, you need to go to a specialist to get the best. Not only you are getting the best, you get the best cover, because it is not good to have a gap in your insurance program. Therefore, if a good specialist professional, which is available in Nigeria, many insurance brokers are there, they can arrange this at any time. But the problem we have, particularly in Nigeria, is the issue of confidence, ensuring public, for one reason or the other, they probably don't have confidence in insurance sector. But this is, I think that is a perception. I can assure you, a lot of good insurance companies are in Nigeria. They provide cover, they pay claim as when due. Standard Insurance is involved over the last 40 years. And I can tell you, majority of claims coming through us, we get it for our client. Therefore, I will always advise or advocate that the generality of the public should put confidence in the insurance setup, insure their property, insure themselves, with a view of minimizing or with a view of taking a small loss with a bigger one. That's my personal advice. In addition to what I've already said, that is some material damage and some other things. What of the workers? The workers, they need what is known as group personal accident insurance. This insurance will provide death benefit in case some of the workers got accident while they are working on the site, which is common every time. Some may be permanent disablement, that is to say, the injury is permanent. It may be temporary. Whatever it is important that the company have a group personal accident to provide insurance cover for this kind of group of people. They see what is known as medical, surgery, and hospital expenses. Hospital expenses is very, very expensive, not only in Nigeria, it's all over the world. Therefore, there is the need that the company pay a small fee or premium to the underwriter and get a big benefit so that the workers can be happy at the end of the day that they are getting compensation. Another one which I will remind our people to is what is known as group life insurance cover. There is a provision under the Pension Act 2004. Anybody employing more than 5 employees, you must have a group life insurance policy in place to provide compensation for workers as a pension, maybe 3 times annual salary or what the case may be. The group life insurance is very important. And this is what I think everybody should look into. In Dubai here, it is compulsory that each and every employee must be given a medical insurance cover. It's a must because before they permit you to operate, they will see the license, maybe at a particular time. They will see the renewal that the policy is renewed. Those who are sitting here, they can bear me out. It is very important to have this in place. In Nigeria, it is group life at the moment. medical insurance is not compulsory, but again, it's advisable through HMO or whatever that workers are provided with medical insurance, because this will reduce medical expenses of the company if they are providing any. In conclusion, I am just saying, I don't know what is going on. Standard Insurance Consultants is there for anybody. Approach us, not only in Nigeria, outside Nigeria. We will be prepared to provide a professional advice on what is known, on a free fee consultation basis. Because what? By tradition, in insurance business, the broker derive their remuneration from the carriers whom they give business. Therefore, going to an insurance broker is very, very advantageous to the insuring public. I'm very sure Nigerian Corporation of Insurance Broker have been sensitizing people, educating people on this. The same thing, Nigeria Insurance Association. Everybody is trying to educate Nigerians the need to have one form of insurance or the other in place so it can protect their financial interests or otherwise. So thank you very much. Because of the time at our disposal, I think this is where I'm going to put a full stop. If there's any question or whatever, I'm prepared to answer all your questions. Thank you very much, Bisola. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, Farouk.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed Salahuddin. I'm sure our viewers have really enjoyed what you've told us today so far. And we learned a lot about the effect and the importance of insurance when it comes to buildings, right? So we're still on the topic on developing sustainable systems for building collapse prevention. And the next speaker, okay, I believe some people have some questions. However, we have a panel session after each speaker may have spoken. So all the speakers will sit together, then you can ask your questions, then everyone will give their own expertise. So a question can be treated by more than one person based on his own point of view. So next, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. So each speaker has 15 minutes to talk so that we keep to time and we can wrap up in due time, right? So I'm so excited to introduce our next speaker, which is Mr. Adewale Adeolu. So Mr. Wale is a dynamic, innovative professional with high commitment for project success, which has over 16 years experience in the construction industry. He's a certified project manager with PMP credential of Project Management Institute in USA, a member association of Project Management UK, and a chartered project management surveyor, RICS. He started his working experience with an architectural firm where he gained knowledge in design management, project finance, costing and construction management. He has also worked with several construction companies and with mortgage banks as a project manager, where over the years he has led many projects. Mr. Wale has attended and conducted several workshops and trainings on construction project management, real estate development, contract management, among others. Aside his degree in architecture, he also holds a BSc degree in quantity surveying from the University of Reading in the UK, and is currently running an MSc in global management at the University of Salford. And he currently serves as the managing director and lead project consultant of Architect Projects and Logistics Limited. So let's give a round of applause for Mr. Adewale Adeolu as he tells us all about building sustainable systems for prevention of building collapse.
Thank you so much, Mr. Usman Farouk. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be part of this program and to be part of the panelists. I'm very grateful for this opportunity that the GTEx has given me. I'm Wale Adeolu once again. I run Architect Project and Logistics Limited, which is a project management consulting firm. We're also a chartered quantity surveyor and chartered project manager. We have managed several projects and we have assisted a lot, so many real estate companies in Lagos to set up their project management office, which we call PMO. Have an architectural background which spanned over 10 years. And later, after my keen interest in real estate, I decided to further study in quantity surveying and also as project manager. My keen interest has always been how to protect the industry, because I don't have any other sector to go into except the construction and real estate. So my passion has always been to support projects to make it a success. It's very, very unfortunate for the incident that happens 2 weeks ago, if I could remember. And actually, that is not the first time. And well, we pray for good things. In my own view, that will not be the last one. And that is the reason why this kind of program is important, for us to always educate ourselves and to see how we can support the industry to prevent this kind of collapse. Active Project also run a training in terms of educating and empowering the personnel of real estate companies to further understand some of the issues that can lead to this kind of collapse or this kind of accident. It's not what is good for any sector of any economy, because it's a loss, whichever way we want to look at it. Like Dr. Salahuddin has said, insurance is very, very key. In fact, it's part of what I have on my list, which unfortunately most real estate companies are culpable in this country because of their approach to the business. I will start my presentation in, I want to classify in 2 ways. I want to look at the issues first, and the issue has to go into both internal problems and external ones. The internal problem has to do with the organization itself. Most of the real estate companies in Nigeria, the way they were formed, the management structure, the capacity and competency of the personnel on board, and the business objective itself. My study of real estate for the past 10 years have shown that most of the people that come into industry were lured into the industry because of the huge gap in the housing sector and the possibility of making more money, perhaps more than their traditional business. So oftentimes you find building material suppliers, you find non-technical professionals, engaging themselves in the real estate sector. And by so doing, they just try and recruit young professionals that has no experience when it comes to, actual constructing of buildings, all in the name of cheap labor or low pay. So such organizations will eventually embark on a bigger project, which of course they have no track record, they have no experience. All they have is just because they can access fund, perhaps through their family business or their parent business, or through their connection within the government cycle. So these are some of the issues that the companies are facing. Incidentally, I just resigned on one of the projects in January. I haven't noticed this kind of attitude of such a developer. And fortunately for me, I was able to write that letter and also copy most of the relevant agencies just to notify them of our resignation from such project. We were just the project manager, but again, similar issues, the developer just felt that he can do it in his own way. For few people who knows me in Lagos quite well, they know that I easily resign on projects because I told them, well, perhaps I have a British training that taught me a lot of ethics. And when I know that things are not going right, I rather advise you and give you my opinion. And when you are not listening, I will leave your project for you because I hold both individual and the public what I call duty of care. So in view of this, I've realized that most of these real estate companies need to review their process, their internal process, and again, look at how the real estate business really works. It's not only because of the profit they want to make, they should always also realize that they are part of the microeconomy of both the state and the country. And whatever that goes on in that space, it's also affecting the global business at the national level of the economy. So in my own view, I felt that it is high time that government start looking seriously into these organizations, not only for registering with a CAC that they want to run a real estate. I think it is high time that they look at the directors, the background of the directors, their experiences, their knowledge in the industry, to actually, approved such organizations to run a real estate. I also believe that, yes, anybody can be an entrepreneur, and real estate is a business like any other business. But indeed, the person has to show capacity, and the business has to be in categories. I also believe that the ways this kind of business is run, with my experience in South Africa, you can come in, maybe you are approved at bungalow first. When you show the capacity, maybe for a while, then you move into maybe a story building, just like that. I think that will help such organizations to develop the capacity. Again, like I said earlier in my introduction, the internal process also has to do with the management of the project itself within any real estate company. I've noticed that most times some of them don't have professionals, they don't have architects, they don't have QS. Yes, you can actually consult, but again, were they ready to pay the consultants? Oftentimes they are not ready. They just want to engage one or two guys. One of the real estate companies I left recently, I later discovered that the architect, the so-called architect, is just a copper, a guy that's just doing his NYSC. And when I try to probe the design, in fact, looking at the structural design with the architectural and look at the conformity and the compliance, the developer was trying to tell me, no, my architect has done a good job. Look at the 3D, look at this. I said, no, this project will not work because this design has this deficiency. And I have to invite the architect to my office, because we were the project manager, and ask them to shoot the drawings on the projector. And I was asking him this particular concept, which material are you using for this stage and for this stage? The guy couldn't answer me. You understand? He said, no, contractors should know what to do. I said, no, you are the architect. You should be the specifier. You are the one to tell the contractor what you want him to do. In further interrogation of this guy, I discovered that the guy is just a copper. And what experience does he have? It's just unfortunate. But again, I told the developer that I think it is high time for him to set up a proper project management unit. The second phase is the issue of, how do you want to even run the site? What is the level of the subcontractor you are using? What is the level of the contractors you are using? I hear Dr. Salami mentioning CAP, which is Contractors All Risk Insurance. Most times, developers don't engage proper contractors. I can tell you, sir. What they do is just to look for all the artisans on the road, trying to bring them together. And this kind of artisans too, you can provide them group life insurance because they are not organized staff. They are just like independent subcontractors that you pick on the road. So how do you then protect this kind of people? It is very important that you raise all these points, which I'm going to further discuss it with you, and we're going to take it to the next level, sir. So by the time you look at some of these issues, the bulk of the problem lies on the table of the developer themselves. Because I believe that if they really want to play in this space, they must recognize that it's just like you are a medical doctor. There are procedures. You can't just take somebody to the theater and start cutting the person. I mean, there are procedures that you have to follow, starting from how do you put up the project together? What is your conceptualization like? What is the regulation says about that location? What is the planning requirement? Are you approved? Does the place zoned for such high rise? Is it a residential zone or commercial zone or an industrial zone? So developer needs to understand this, and the only way they can do that is to either get an experienced in-house professional or engage experienced professional as consultants. Even if you have the in-house professionals, your consultant can help you midwife your internal officers or personnel to grow the company. So oftentimes you see them, rather than using a proper contract like a NEC, FIDIS, JCT, which has actually covered some of these insurance clauses that you mentioned, they will just issue a letter of award which does not connote all these clauses. And at the end of the day, when you issue a letter of award to a contractor, you come back and you want the contractor to go and do insurance, it will tell you that the price is getting the project does not allow him to provide such a provision. So we need to look at some of these things. And the main important thing, like I said, is to ensure that the developer themselves understand where they are going to, how they are going to play in the industry. Then the second one has to do with the contract, like I said. They need to understand some of the clauses in the contract, the JCT and all the rest. There are various JCT contracts, which can be used for minor works, major works, design and build, contractor and client relation. So all these things is very important for a new entrant into real estate to understand, because by the time you actually plan your project properly ab initio, I think some of the issues that usually lead to collapse or crisis on site will be eliminated and reduced to a BRS minimum. Because when you have an experienced engineer, it will tell you, even if you are bringing a new technology into your design, it will be able to tell you whether that technology will fit in or not. And innovation comes with its own risk. If you are not using a conventional method, then the engineer too has to perhaps conduct field research to be sure that that particular materials can be used, because some of these products abroad has to do with environmental issue. And by the time you are bringing a particular materials from a temperate region to a tropical region, it has its own challenges. It's not just everything in Europe that you can import to Nigerian climate and you feel it's going to work. So these are the things that the experienced professionals will bring on board, especially those professionals that are actually exposed. So, like I said, these are the issues with the developer themselves, which is I refer to as more of internal issues. Then let me go into the external one, which has to do with other stakeholders. What I mean by other stakeholders is the government agencies, the landowner, the workers of the government, I mean the government officials, and even the regulation itself need to be looked into. In last few weeks, I have a meeting with some people in South Africa, and I was telling them that, well, as big as Nigerian real estate looks to an outsider, it's still yet informal sector, because it's not really regulated. And this is why Lagos State is trying to come up with Lagos State Real Estate Developers Agency, I think so, which is mandatory for every developer in Lagos State to register now, because of this kind of imbalances in the system, and it's affecting the market really. So I know Lagos State is doing a lot in trying to make sure that this sector is actually controlled. Well, we just pray that they will continue to do it in a very transparent manner. It will look as if they are trying to put the practitioners in the very difficult positions to practice. Now, you can't rule out corruption in our processes. I know corruption is a global thing, but the way it works in Nigeria is quite pathetic. For instance, if it is true that the building was actually approved for 15 floors and the developer went ahead to do 21 floors, I'm wondering what is the government officials are doing? What are they looking when the man was adding extra floors up to the 21, and eventually it has to take the life of people? I think everybody is culpable in these instances. I mean, both the government and the developer himself. So external regulation is very, very key, and the government officials need to be transparent in what they are doing. Again, like I said about the stakeholders, landowners are also very key because of their high expectation. This also plays a lot of demands on the developer when the value of land is overpriced, and you know, the developer want to make high profit in order to be able to meet up all his obligations in terms of cost of fund and the cost of the land. So this, in some instances, make the developer to look for all ways and all manners to have the project development costs reduced in order to meet up with these obligations. And at the end of the day, you might end up using the substandard materials. And in the last couple of years, a lot of the projects that even standing are dilapidated now because of the substandard materials, and people are not really getting the value for the money they have invested in such a property. I mean, those ones that have even been completed. So it's not just only collapse alone, it's also the post-construction and post-occupancy has to be looked into. But I strongly believe that once all these external issues are critically looked into, expectation of the landowner, the expectation of the banks or the investors or the financier, because again, when you are trying to do a good and quality project, you know, when you look at the cost of fund too, hardly you will see a bank that is ready to do a long-term or medium-term funding. What they are looking for is always a short-term. And looking at that, deploying it into a project that is going to span for almost like 3 years. So it's difficult for you to raise funds for such a gestation period of the construction. So these are some of the issues that I'm quite aware that developers are facing, because we have our own development arm too. So by the time we're able to look at all this, I think there are solutions to this prevention in my own view. It's very complex. It's a very complex and very large sector because of the value chain. It involves a lot of people. It involves the suppliers, the quality of material supplied to the site. Who is going to inspect that on behalf of the developer, especially when the developer is not a professional? What's the quality of the sand? Is it what is recommended? What's the grade of the granite? What's the grade of the reinforcement? What is the strength of the reinforcement? Hardly you will see a developer that is doing a concrete test, you know, on all their concrete elements of the structure. So these are some of the issues that the insurance need to look to before you even insured any company or any project. You have to look at what we call project execution plan. How do you intend to carry out and execute your project? So that once those things are in place, then insurance company will be rest assured that their exposure is a bit manageable. Right? Because if you are not looking at this, I mean, you might be insuring a very dangerous and delicate project. So this is my own view, and these are my opinion. I'm open to a lot of interventions and trainings and, you know, sensitization in this manner that will make our professionals to realize that if we are clamoring for FDI, foreign direct investment in Nigeria, we must protect the sector, because for people who are outside the country to be hearing this kind of story, it's not good for any investment, and it's going to be challenging when you are looking for funding into that sector, that space in Nigeria. So I really appreciate this program. I want to commend the effort of the GTEx, and I know that they will showcase themselves in a way that, I mean, people will realize that there is a real estate company that is coming with a new dimension. So thank you all. Good evening to everybody.
So much, Mr. Dewale. Thank you. I don't know. I've been able to understand how important it is to have external regulation, especially here in our country, Nigeria. Basically, how when you said, okay, you approved a 15-story building, what were you looking at when it got to 21? And at the end of the day, you were saying that was what you approved. So thank you so much for that great insight and for that great enlightenment. I'm going to bring in our next speaker on board. Her name is Tima Jeba. So just give me a few minutes to introduce her. Like she's one of our amazing gurus when it comes to interior designs in Dubai. So Tima is an American. She's a French graduate with over 16 years of experience in architecture and high-end design firms. She has demonstrated and she's a successful expertise and when it comes to competencies in all interior designs, works, and also design process of luxury villas, retail, restaurants, lounges, malls, theaters, offices, and government projects. In fact, Tima was one who designed our GTEx store. So I can really vouch. I know what when it comes to high-end interior designs that she does. So let me give you a summary of projects of Tima Designs. So firstly, Tima designed and built the Abu Dhabi Airport, the VIP lounge at Abu Dhabi Airport. Amazing. Can someone say amazing? So Tima also designed Rolls-Royce lounge, Abu Dhabi. Amazing. Tima designed Dubai Gulf Creek and Park Hyatt, that is Renovation 99 Villas. Tima designed and built Dubai Gulf Creek Lakeview Restaurants. Tima designed Dubai Gulf Creek and Park Hyatt Golf Driving Range. Amazing. Tima also designed and built the prefab containers of the prayer rooms at Dubai Gulf Creek. Tima is also designed and built Dubai World, the 15 information desk. Tima, amazing. So Tima designed Innovation Center Huawei at Dubai Media City. Tima designed and also she handles the project management of the Dubai Media City, that is Huawei Open Lab. Tima designed and built the Sky Dubai Ice Bar. Amazing. So Tima designed and built Dubai South Headquarters. Tima designed high-end and graphic design office. Tima designed Fairmount Desert Containers prefab rooms. Tima designed luxury yacht boutique hotel. Tima designed Al Fahidi Theater at Dubai Police. Tima, please welcome our beautiful and amazing Tima Jeba. Thank you.
Thank you, Abisola. I think you have said it all. Beautiful, thank you. My name is Tima Jeba. I'm an interior designer and also certified in risk management in buildings. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I see Dr. Salahuddin, which I met recently. How are you? I think for whatever happened in Nigeria, which is sad, and prayers to all people who lost their life and the family. Everyone is responsible from point one till the end. There's not just one person responsible for what happened. As all the speakers that said before, from corruption, from civil engineers, from every aspect when we start the design or the building, first and foremost, even before the insurance, the soil testing needs to be done. This is supposed to be done by the municipality. The wind study needs to be done. If this building can support this much wind, or the structure has to be redesigned in order to avoid any issues in the future. Also the foundation. I think the foundation maybe was not done properly, or if people, did corruption or cheated on the material, how can you go from this point to the next point of building other floors without inspection? I agree with Dr. Ahmed Salahuddin. Third-party insurance should be an unknown insurance from maybe the municipality, from another government agency that no one knows till the project starts, so they can come and inspect. And regularly, the civil engineer or the project manager should be changed, so the relationship does not go further with the developer or the contractor, so no corruption will be done. And I can tell you that this has been done with the process of Huawei, a project that I've done here in Dubai. We could not have one single person. Each month, they have changed the project manager. In the beginning, for me, it was kind of weird. Why are we changing the project manager all the time? But the reason why they did this is to avoid any corruption, to avoid anything that could be done in the process of the design or the building, which I think this should be implemented. And if people are not ethically responsible when they do their job, having like penalties should be very severe, because here we're not talking about toys or Legos. We're talking about people's lives, families, neighborhood. We're talking about corruption. We're talking about a lot of stuff that affects our life. And as Dr. Salahuddin said, now there are debris that needs to be cleaned up. Other neighborhoods, other buildings have gotten affected with all of this. But who lost in this? Families. I don't see it from the point of the contractor or the insurance. Yes, the insurance should be done properly as well. But here we're not just insuring building, we're insuring also people's lives. So we should not be taking this for granted. From my point, when I go to each project, I'm an interior designer, but I've seen so many mistakes at sites. Either developers, contractors, or subcontractors, they don't respect the HCC schedule or whatever rules that we implement. For example, the safety head, the boots, the gloves, and people work in massive kiosk. When I go to the site, I see nails on the floor, I see sharp items on the floor. If we look at the risk of everything, we have to look it up from a very minimal point, which is a nail. I could be walking into the site, that nail could go into my shoe. I could have a ladder that is not completely opened and it could fall on me. I've seen people going up to fix something in the ceiling while they don't see something behind them and then they hit them. It's just stupid mistakes that could happen, but this affects everybody at site. We're talking about lives. I've seen people died from building falling down because they did not pay attention that this building is open, and some of them actually fall from different floors. Unfortunately, this has to be strictly supervised. And even with me, when I go sometimes to sites, we speak to the subcontractors or the contractors to wear their life jacket, to wear their helmets. They say yes, but the moment you walk out from the site, everything changed. So I think I'm not really sure what the regulation in Nigeria, but this has to be severely inspected all the time. And before you build the next floor, the foundation, the walls, everything should be inspected. The materials that you use, cement, the metal, everything that actually goes into the building structure has to be inspected and approved and authorized by the government and municipality before it goes to the next stage. This is my opinion. As far as the design, we do require sometimes third-party liability insurance if we're bringing also our materials into the site. So we do comply with that as well. And coming to the developers or the owner who's going to build this building, sometimes it's not up to the contractor. The client comes, they tell them, okay, I need this BOQ. I would like you to quote for this. And then they start degrading because of the budget. So a lot of times, developers, okay, they come, they want, you have to fit everything within this budget, but sometimes it's wrong because you have to study the structure, what is strongest in the structure that needs to be done, especially in buildings, not just like design. So if you keep cutting for a lot of stuff, of course, then if no one also supervise these contractors or the subcontractors, then they're just gonna change the material. And you think they're giving you also a good price or something, but then they change the materials. And unfortunately, this is gonna affect also the quality of the living, even in terms of wood, flooring, and a lot of things that I've seen throughout also the project that I've worked on. This is what I can tell you. From my point, I don't think I have a lot to say because I work mostly with the interiors. I don't work a lot with the structure. I come to basically the last stage. But for me as a professional, even as a designer, I had to take classes for risk management to make sure that I understand the other parts. And even if it's not my job, if I see something wrong, I go and I tell them. And I feel I'm responsible. I cannot just go to the next point and I see so many things wrong and I have to keep quiet. For me, it's not ethical and I don't accept it. And that's why I've taken certifications in risk management and safety, and other certifications that I will be taking in order for me, when I go to the site, I understand all the aspects. So thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to other business opportunity with you, and have a great evening. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Timajala. It's a really nice meeting you, right? I'm sure a lot of people in the audience really enjoyed what you had to say, right? Concerning really about project managers and how developers they affect the cost of quality of materials, and how people tend to minimize and shrink budgets in order to accommodate based on developers' preference, thereby reducing loss of quality, and as well as how people tend to misbehave on site. So without regular supervision, they cannot tend to do their job on time and use safety equipment, safety gears when in the site. So thank you so much, Sima. I'm sure others have questions, but however, we'll have a panel session very soon. So please stay around. Thank you.
Sure.
Right. So up next we have Mr. Michael Raj. Mr. Raj is the first C-suite project manager we have here at GTEx Home. So I'm quite excited to work with him. Mr. Raj is resident in Dubai, and I think I'll let him introduce himself more. Mr. Raj, are you there? Mr. Raj, can you unmute yourself, please? All right, so Mr. Raj, you can take it away. You can tell us about developing sustainable system for building collapse prevention. So you have the floor, sir.
Yes, it's pleasure to be a part of this, and I wish good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. So it's good. So now our topic, what we are into is the developing sustainable system for building collapse prevention, right? So how to sustain is a main thing. How we have to sustain. There, I was really very thanked to share Dr. Salahuddin about the insurance and the project manager from Adul. So those is very impressive. And the interior designer, Ms. Tima Jabbar also. So everything is fine, but at the end, you know, we are selecting, the business is going on nowadays in the market. It's in the very rush. People want to take the land from the government, and they want to design very fast, and they want to execute very fast, and they want to sell it very fast. This is the current market the business is running. So in this, how we will save the people who trust and who is staying inside these buildings? Insurance, okay, it's a part. Interior is a part. Design is a part. So everything is a part. So a lot of reasons that we are facing, the building is collapsed. There are a lot of reasons. The reasons, you see, the reason starts from the land until the finishing of the building. So from the land, we are facing the problem. So the part, the responsible is from the government until to the client, who is taking over and handing over also. So we are solely responsible to choose the land, which land we want to construct. You see, there are a lot of corruptions from government to the builders, government to the client. How they grab, there are a lot of grab the land, like it was before. It could be a pond, it could be a river, or it could be some other area. They will ask, okay, we will make a documentation and you can construct a tower here. Who knows? No one knows. When there is a rainstorm come, the foundation will get collapsed. So the initial statement, initial responsibility is coming from the government itself. So solely everything is there at the time, at the end of the time, you know, during the construction, execution part is the full responsible to sustain the building, or to resist all these things and to hand over to the client. So initially, we have to be strictly, carefully about the land which you are going to construct. And after that, upon getting the land, we are very serious about the design. The design, which is the architectural design, is freezed before starting the structural design, because there are a lot of design changes during the design stage from the client as to the consultants. So the design should be freezed before designing the structural design. So upon the structural design, it is very solely responsible to check the soil investigation report, where this building can sustain, this can resist, this can bear those soils, because there are a lot of soils, a lot of clays, a lot of water tables, a lot of things are there. So the client, a lot of clients, they could cheat the foundation design. They told the designer will tell, we need a pile foundations, we need a shoring, we need a dewatering. But a lot of the clients, they are telling, no, that there is no need of such kind of foundations. We'll go for some economical foundations. No need for the pile, we'll go for the raft foundations. So in that case, there is a corruption. There is involvement of change in design. So this could also create the settlement and it will collapse. So those things we have to be very careful during the execution time, where the foundation is selected properly as per the freezed architectural design. Because normally the design from the municipality or from the government, we will freeze it. Okay, this is 2 basement and this is G, and we'll go for 20 stories or 40 stories or 100 stories, whatever may be. Change in design can be a problem for the settlement or to collapse the building. So you have to be clearly, very carefully, we have to check this building, this foundation is basically designed for how many stories. And there is how many factor of safety. If the client will tell, oh, I want it only for 7 stories, later on he will think of, okay, once it done, I will do something inside. He will make it the concrete for the bank, or he will change. Initially, he will tell, I want to make it this as a restaurant or as some of the supermarkets. Later on, he will change the bank. If the bank guy comes, he wants all the walls to be the concrete. So ultimately, the load will increase. When the load get increased, ultimately the foundation got weak. So these things, this change in design also can collapse the building. So we have to be very careful. Once the architectural design is freezed, we have to follow the same thing. If not, we have to notify to the government. This is our responsibility, because after the end of the part, the execution team and the client will be responsible. So this is the main part. We have to take over from the foundation, selecting the foundation, selecting the soils, finding the soils, and finding the designs and everything. After that, we will come up, we'll go for the skeleton structures, where these skeleton structures, there is columns, there is beams, there is roof, there is slabs, there is retaining structures. So the person who, the engineer who is executing this, he must know what is this element, what is it for. If he don't know really, he never care. The placement of the material, the selection of the material is very important not to collapse the building. So the engineer should be qualified engineer for the high-rise building, not to avoid any cracks or to avoid the structures. I will tell you one example. As an example, we will take our human body. Is our human body will take it. This is the same building. Our human body is a building, where our bone is a tensile strength and our flesh is a compressive strength. If you take any of your bones from the leg and you place on the hand, it will not stay, it will collapse. If you take any of the bones of the finger of any other parts, and if you fix anywhere, it will collapse. So whatever the consultant is designed, and he is telling you have to place this material, these things, you have to place it. And this engineer who is involved must understand and he must know. Otherwise, there will be the poor management and it will get collapsed. And he must know what is for the compression, for the concrete. When the engineer who is staying on the concrete time, he must know what is concrete, what is the grade of the concrete. This concrete is for what? Because our flesh, if there is a void in your flesh, it will be a problem. So the grade of the concrete to fill the skeleton, the compressive strength is the bone, which can resist any collapses. If you do any small mistakes in that, there could be a crack, and ultimately what will happen? Currently we will not know, but the life of the building will get reduced 10 or 15 or 20 years. So you cannot sustain the building more than this area which you are giving. Maybe you are giving 50 years or 100 years, it could collapse within 50 or 75 years, even if you do proper maintenance. Because the material which we are putting inside, it is not as per the design. Because every grade of the concrete, every grade of the steel, every material is all analyzed, approved. There is a proper specification, there is analysis, there is a design, there is a codes. So you cannot replace anything else as per what the consultant is telling. We have to place it, and the engineer must be well qualified who is executing the job. Project management is there, yes. Execution is there, yes. Quality is there, yes. Procurement is there. Technical department is there. Engineering department is there. All the departments is there. But ultimately, who is going to construct? The man who is in the site, the project manager is there. So he must qualify what is there he is placing. So in that part, it have to be very careful. The engineer who is executing is well qualified, and the consultants who is designing must be well qualified to sustain the building from the collapses. Because I have a lot of points. You can say that building is getting collapsed because of the structural failure, some faulty designs, poor performance by the contractors, and what other things. There is poor materials, rainstorms, ignorance of the owners, absence of structural designs, earthquakes, wind loads, impacts, wrong demolitions, overloadings, and hurry to work, execution. I want it today, I want it today, I want it today. You know, so such things could make the mistakes. The natural factors, floodings. So these all things, everything, there is a documentation, there is a checklist, there is proper drawings, there is a proper things. So this all things should be properly followed as per the system. So we have to be very careful in every part of the execution, like selecting from the ground, selecting the consultant, following the consultant, executing the contractor should be qualified contractor. The executing the PMB team should be qualified. As part of handing over, all those things, every part we have to be serious in all those things, so that we can reduce this risk of building collapse, and we can be safe, and it should be a safer system. Okay, so this is my small share experience to how to sustain the building. Everything is there, but we have to be safe. So thank you for this opportunity, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Abisala, are you there?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much, Michael Raj. And now we have GMD CEO of GTEX Global, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. So he's a serial entrepreneur. He specializes in digital marketing, real estate. So he has several subsidiaries. When it comes to GTEX Global, has several subsidiaries. When it comes to GTEX Homes, we have GTEX Homes, we have GTEX Farm, we have GTEX Academy, we have SSC Media Global, we have GTEX Hub, we have a lot of subsidiaries. Yeah, we have a lot of subsidiaries. So we'll be bringing him on board now in Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I hope he's here. Farouk, is he here?
Yeah, he is. Proceed.
Yes, so he's happily married with 3 children, a beautiful wife, and he's my father, he's my boss, and I'm happy to introduce him. Thanks for giving me this privilege and opportunity to introduce Dr. Stephen Akintayo.
Thank you for having me, Abisola, and I want to appreciate all our guest speaker, Dr. Ahmed Salahuddin, Tima Jaba. In fact, Engineer Diolu, when we posted his own CV, everybody said, how many degree does this man have? And then, of course, our own Michael Raj, GTEX's own project. He's an incoming project officer, and he's landing in Nigeria soon. And so he's come with years and years of experience in construction industry. I want to thank everyone. Farouk, well done. Everybody who put this together, the construction team of GTEX Homes, thank you all for putting this together. The reason why we decided to do this was, and I hope we'll enjoy the question and answer time. Business Day is also streaming this on their YouTube and Facebook. We hope that they do a write-up on the event as well. Farouk, you can follow up with them to do like a write-up of the summary of our conversation, as well as the Q&A. I hope that the Q&A will be very robust and we'll be able to have a lot of good questions coming in. And I think what we've done that is quite unique is having this balanced conversation, as we have different angles. We have from the insurance angle, Tima from the design angle, being that Tima is an architect, Engineer Diolu, of course, from both design and construction angle. Dr. Salahuddin from insurance angle, which we often neglect, right? Nobody talks about insurance. A lot of those who invested in that particular project now, the question is, what happened to their funds? Nobody's talking about that. Those who lost their life, the COI issue, what compensation, is going to happen to them. So for us, the reason we put this together, rather than live the life that most of us do in Africa, where we just complain about issues, and everybody just complain. We have a construction group for different contractors. We have over 200 people there. Remember when the incident happened, everybody was just ranting. For the first time, we had the largest conversation in that group. And again, I always say that leaders do not complain. Leaders provide solutions. When we all begin to look for a way to provide solution to the challenges we face, then we will solve the problem confronting us in Africa. I just got to Tanzania just a few minutes ago, and in fact, I've not been able to settle down, but I just needed to show up. And however, one unique thing for me was Tanzania is another beautiful African country. You just keep asking yourself, why is it not more developed than this? Funny enough, Tanzania is very peaceful, has gold, has beautiful beaches. Zanzibar is in Tanzania. Many of us don't know Kilimanjaro, the tallest mountain in Africa, is in Tanzania, right? Now I changed just 1,000 dirhams. I think what they gave me back was almost 50,000 Tanzanian shillings or, or whatever. I don't know whether I have the money here, just 1,000 dirhams. And so for me, it's you have gold, you have all of this. Why is this country not, a paradise? Why is it not as developed as Dubai? Right? So for me, again, is I've made up my mind. As long as I draw my breath, I want to focus on solutions. I'm tired of we complaining, because complaint does not solve anything. And that's why we put this together to say, let's bring experts. Let all of us handle questions. A lot of people, even when I posted this flyer, they said, so why did the building collapse? I mean, I remember I said, well, come for the event, right? Let everybody give us answer. We're bringing experts. Let them tell us what could have led to building collapse and how could we prevent it. But we need to talk about systems, because what you've seen in Dubai is systems and systems that work. And the hard work, the painstaking effort to make the system work. Because our problem in Africa is not that we don't have systems. We have templates, we have structures, but we don't drive them. We don't enforce them. Right? Corruption gets in the way. We transferred 2 of our staffs from Nigeria to Dubai to resume in Dubai. And they were telling me they had to go through Kenya. And it took them more than 4 hours to do COVID tests in Kenya airport. And because there were more than 200, it became chaotic. Some people started bribing, just to do COVID, bribing the security so that they can do their own test ahead of other people. I'm like, again, why is Africa always coming across as though we don't know what we're doing? And we can get this right. But what it takes is we in the private sector to take responsibility for our sector. The government is not going to make any sector better. It's those in the private sector that will make it better. For example, I don't think Dubai would have been what it is today if not for Emma. And if Emma were not to have been semi-government, meaning it was mainly controlled by private sector, even though government has stake, maybe Dubai won't be what it is today. You and I agree with me. And the growth of Emma, then led to the Damacs, the Shobas, right? Because Emma had laid that, standard. So nobody can then go lower than that. Everybody had to begin to step up. And you could see that Dubai isn't immune, to corruption that we saw in the real estate sector. They also did what? Put structure in place when they realized that developers were trying to mess up their name, right? And that's when escrow came in. Escrow did a good job in terms of RERA was a part of it, but escrow did another part. Right now, if you're a developer in Dubai, you must drop a percentage of money, right, equivalent to the development you are doing, so that if anything goes wrong, the government can pay those who invested in your project. That's the escrow part that they introduced. So, and so we want to look at systems that work, systems that are working, and how can we make them better. But this is my view. The private sector has to take the bull by the horn first, and then government will come to regulate. I'll give us a story. The US grew, 2 industries grew in the US by 2 gentlemen. One is the oil industry by a man called John D. Rockefeller, Standard Oil. And Standard Oil later, broke down into what we now know as ExxonMobil, Shell, and so on and so forth. Then we had another man called Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie started the rail and the steel system in America. Thank God for Andrew Carnegie, we will not be having 50 stories, 70 stories. It was because of his steel business that he came up with the concept of using steel for construction. He also owned at some point more than 50% of the rail lines in America, owned by him. He built them literally One man built the rail line. What then happened to these two people? Then you have also JP Morgan. JP Morgan is, we owe the banking revolution to JP Morgan. He was the brain behind it. Well, of course, in science, we have Einstein, right? And one other person as well. Now, one major thing that we discover about these people, particularly the first two, they became the richest man. John D. Rockefeller became the first American billionaire in dollars. But what happened, because I'm saying this because many people always quote America growth as the model everybody must follow without understanding the foundation for what made America what it is. Who were the people who built the oil business in America? John D. Rockefeller. It was when he turned it to monopoly that government had to come in, and that's why they broke his business into three. And then put structure that stopped the monopoly. Same thing with Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie literally at some point was the largest employer in America, paying them whatever he feels like, right? Again, when he became big, what did government do? They come in and then try to put system. The same thing, ladies and gentlemen, we're beginning to see with social media. Watch out. America will soon break the monopoly of Facebook on social media, Google, and the likes of them. But what has America done that other countries don't do? America will provide an environment for you to grow big and perfect the system. Then government comes in to try and democratize what you have built, so that you are now not just a one man controlling the entire enterprise. And there's a lot of lessons for us to learn in that model as private citizens of our various African countries. That if we want a sector to get better, can you take responsibility for architecture? Can I take responsibility for development? Can Michael Raj take responsibility for structural engineering? To say, no building will collapse under my watch. I'm going to build systems that guarantees that things don't go bad. Dr. Alhaji Salaudeen putting together a system for us in the insurance sector, right? To say we have this special package for all real estate companies that guarantees that whatever happens, third-party insurance, right? And then we gradually, over time, government can copy from us and then democratize it. But ladies and gentlemen, I have discovered, even America is no exception, politicians are lazy. It's when private sector has perfected it that politicians come in and claim to be Messiah and claim they have come to save the day, like they're about to do with Facebook. Oh, people women are being depressed on Instagram because Facebook is showing them, too many fake women. On Facebook, people are getting depressed because that's what American politicians are discussing now. So they are saying, hey, let's break Facebook, let's regulate. That is politicians for you. They come in and play the hero, but they don't develop it. And this is some of the things we African entrepreneurs haven't really dig deep into, right? They don't develop it. Politicians don't develop anything. It is when the private sector develops it, they come in to want to do what? Play hero. Play, we have come to save the day. Somebody is saying Lagos State is beginning to do some changes in the real estate sector. They are coming up. Let me tell you the truth, Mr. Adeolu. Lagos State is just after tax and how to make money from real estate. And they've discovered that there's nothing wrong against it because many cities have developed through real estate tax. So I'm not against Lagos State trying to find a way But behind what Lagos State is doing, the real motive, we can make more money in the real estate sector. And there's nothing wrong with it, right? But we should not always sit back as private sector expecting government to come and save the day. By design, when we check history, from the time of John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie, right? The man who invented the light bulb, the man who invented AC and DC, Faraday, Michael Faraday, we can go on and on. It has always been the private sector, including COVID-19 vaccine. It has always been the private sector. What Donald Trump did was to release $2 billion to Pfizer, another $2 billion to Johnson & Johnson, and told them, I need a vaccine by December. Okay? But he's not going to do it. And the mandate is that if you then produce the vaccine, because we had already paid you, you give government first, so that government can then give what? The citizens. Right? So we must take responsibility as private sector, and that's why this is GTES putting this together. We've had to fund this event, engaging our media partners so that it can be streamed widely. We hope it's going to be in the news tomorrow or next tomorrow in Business Day as well. And let's, be the catalyst for the change. And let's, of course, government and politicians come and shine and take the star when we are done with the success. We don't have a problem about that. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. God bless you.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Stephen Akintayo. Right, so if you're a private developer, wherever you are, take charge. Take charge of your industry, right? I always feel motivated when I listen to Dr. Stephen, and a lot of people are already in the comments saying the same thing, right? So it's not about just sitting back and waiting for the government to do things for you. You yourself have to do things on your own, right? You yourself have to do things on your own. So now we're going to have a panel section where everyone that has spoken will be together. And if you have any questions, you can start dropping it. For me, I already have one question for Dr. Salahuddin. Let me just bring all the people here and add them to the spotlight so we can have a group discussion, please. Okay, Mr. Michael Raj, okay, you're here. So thank you so much to all our wonderful speakers. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking our time to address this discussion, address this situation. So, Dr. Salahuddin, I have a question for you, right? So I was fortunate to discuss with your team here in Abuja. You have a fantastic setup here in Abuja. I spoke to Mr. Kadri, and we're discussing about insurance in the construction industry. You mentioned something about contractors all inclusive. That's like where contractors will have to pay a certain amount in percentage for insurance, right? So I'm saying, how do we put in measures for insurance whereby insurance puts in measures as a way to qualify contractors? Why am I saying this? Because I had a discussion with him and it was like, the level of expertise of a contractor decides on the number of percentage you have to pay as an insurance. I hope I got that right. So I'm saying, can we have measures in place whereby, okay, if you have to pay more than 7% of the total amount you're funded, it means that the risk of you taking over this property is higher. Therefore, we can set it in a way like, okay, if it's higher than 8%, for example, a contractor should not be able to take this project, right? So the lower the risk, the better the contractor. So I'm saying, can we have measures like that in place? Is that something like that we can work with, Mr. Dr. Salahuddin?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much. And I appreciate your question. And very, very right in the right direction. But let me just explain to you. Insurance is just a mechanism how to put things in place. And like the gentleman, I like him, I will ask some question. Adeolu, he has said a lot of things that actually needs to be explained. You see, insurance is such that in the first place, I told you already, if you have heart problem, you need to go to a cardiologist. If you have teeth problem, you go to a dentist. If you have skin problem, you go to a dermatologist. In insurance, the first step is to go to a professional, listen to me, professional insurance broker. Professional insurance broker will be able to analyze from the beginning, look at your risk, find out how can you be able to mitigate losses. And look, you see, all of you, I'm very happy. You have been talking about the professionalism, the engineers, what they are putting in place. And it is very necessary. The lesser your risk is, the better that they are going to give you a better rate. One, if somebody is constructing a two-story building, for a contractor or rigs, it is not as expensive. But if you are going to do a 101-story building, because here in Dubai, you probably don't believe it, in Dubai Marina, I'm sure Mana will bear me out. There is a private organization that developed Dubai Marina 101, and it's a 101-story building. Therefore, the first thing an underwriter will look, if you are represented by a very professional broker will give necessary information about your risk. Who are your engineers? Where is the building located? You see, there is difference when a building is located in a ditch, whereby you have to do piling operation. In a desert, it's different. So all these things are taken into consideration in arriving at an equitable rate of premium to be paid. And if you have a very good professional insurance broker, he will be able to look at this and see how this will work. But unfortunately, like majority of you are saying, there's a challenge of corruption. I told you already, go and check. 2003, the federal government, through the Regulatory Authority, Insurance Act of 2003, make it mandatory if anybody who you are in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if you are constructing anything more than 2 floors, there is a specified insurance business you have to put in place. If you are constructing about 3 floors, 4 floors, you must have insurance. And Tima, in Dubai here, you recall, we asked you to come and design something for us, 4x3, isn't it? That's at Dubai Mall for signature.
Yes.
Then you recall how many insurances they are requesting us to provide for only 4x3 design that you did for us in Dubai.
Yeah. There's about 3, my insurance, my staff insurance, and then third-party liability insurance as well, which they have to decide also on the amount. If it has to be 500K to maybe 1 million, based on the project.
Yes, what I'm saying, in the first place, insurance is a necessity everywhere in the world. It's only Nigeria are bypassing it.
I agree with you.
And it's very unfortunate. Instead of you to prevent a small loss for a bigger one, you are avoiding a smaller one because the premium you are paying is very small. And just to answer your question, it depends on what you are doing in terms of the construction. What is the location of where you are constructing? Is it in a water place? Is it in a ditch? You see in the desert, all these things have to be taken into consideration before the underwriter will arrive. And the good thing in other places is inspection. The moment you start your construction, the insurance company will come from time to time to see what material you are using. Are you complying with the material? Like Adeolu said, in Nigeria, do they comply? Because compliance is very important. And I like him for saying something. If his company is being appointed and the people are not complying with the regulation, he will resign from there. If everybody is doing that, I think everybody will do the right thing. Therefore, to be able to determine what is the equitable premium for any risk, not only in construction, any risk. So insurance has to be involved, and you have to give a very, very correct situation of this, because insurance is of that of utmost good faith, which is time at Aubrey Mabade. The two of you have to have utmost good faith. You have to have trust. For instance, if a gentleman gets approval to construct a building for only 15 floors, and if at the time of the loss, the insurance company now find out that you move from 15 floors to 20-something floors in the first place, that will negate the insurance company. I'm just trying to tell you, and I want to just explain for the Nigeria insuring public. For now, they don't have confidence in the insurance company. Stephen said it. Yes, you don't have confidence because you are not selecting the right people. There are a lot of good professional insurance brokers in Nigeria. I can tell you, there are good underwriters in Nigeria that pay claims as at when due. I have been in this business over 40 years, but the right thing has to be done. Therefore, to me, it is very important that insurance is an assessment. They will assess it depending on what liability cover you want. It depends on what your location of the, that is the way this could be done. Is your area a flooded area in the first place? Are you affected by hurricane, flood, or anything? I was telling Stevens, it depends on the area you are operating. You may even have a 2-story building. Is it a flooded place? Insurance will look into all this. Then it will now come to aggregate what is the equitable rate of premium for you to be paid. In actual fact, insurance premium is just a token amount that insurance company will charge because they believe you have so many developers. Because of so many developers coming together, they pay adequate premium. And out of this, the unfortunate people, like the incident of 21 story, it will not happen every day, every time. Out of that fund, that money is being paid as a compensation to those who are very unfortunate. So therefore, I can even tell you this too. Our office in Lagos, the team of professionals in Lagos, they've met your team in Lagos as well. They've discussed so many things, and proposals has already been sent to your company to look into it so that we can see how we go. But you can be rest assured, we are not taking any fee from you. Like I said in my presentation, payment of our remuneration is basically from the risk carriers, as in the real estate, because the developer pay the broker their remuneration. Therefore, I wish everybody to feel free to approach insurance broker in Nigeria.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Salahuddin. Thank you so much for that wonderful answer and address. Right, so I just want to read out some comments before I get to other questions. Right, we have, give me a minute. Yeah, we have Mr. Howard Johnson. So he said he has learned a lot today. Here in his country, Sierra Leone, here they have a lot of virgin landscapes and beaches for real estate investments. Jerry Chinda Yohanda said HS is to be enforced on everyone in building and construction. There should be private regulators, inspectors, since the government regulators cannot be trusted. Timajaba also said, also dewatering the land is important to avoid any collapse, right? Our Johnson again said, as for me, following Dr. Stephen Akintayo on several platforms on real estate investments has empowered him with ideas and knowledge to see investments as a goal in building his country. Then he would like, okay, that's like a personal message. What else can we see? Yes, through this platform, I'm asking on Dr. Stephen Akintayo and all the host panelists to come and do investment here in my country. Mr. Howard Johnson, you are really championing Sierra Leone for us here. So Mr. Ajiborudi said, missing this webinar would have been very unfortunate because it's very informative and interesting, socially, professionally, and highly educative. The insurance session by Dr. Salahuddin was great. Architect QS Adewale Adeolu gave us a great submission and gave us insights on the solutions. The interior decorator Tina was amazing during her talk, especially telling us she can't look away when she discovers something is going wrong in a project, but she mentioned it to be corrected. The GTS project manager nailed it at the right place, explaining how the solution should be from the foundation to the handed over to the project, and nothing must be compromised. Thank you, Dr. Steve Akintayo, for this enlightenment on what goes on around the world and how Africans should be ready to make Africa great and better. I thank you for providing this great and rare professional training that deals with the problems of housing collapse in our society. God bless you all. Right. So Mr. Howard Johnson again said, all of you panelists have made a lot of points on how insurance companies can know how to take their responsibility. Another question, Dr. Salahuddin, sir, you stated that when building high-rise building, there is need for insurance to building around the high-rise. What's the maximum radius which insurance can cover for a building around the high-rise? Then another question, Dr. Salahuddin, how has insurance contributed to the prevention of building collapse? Who pays the premium? So I think we have two questions for you there, Dr. Salahuddin.
Okay, let me answer the last question. To be honest with you, there is an association in Nigeria. We have about 3 or 4 associations. Nigeria Insurance Association, which is the umbrella of insurance company generally. That's another one. NCRIB, Nigerian Corporation of Insurance Brokers, and then Nigerian Loss Adjusters. You see, all these people come together, they sensitize the public, but like I always say, it's not only to be advertising yourself. What is very important is for you to put it in practice. If there is claim and everybody are getting their claim, you don't need to say anything, they will come to you. You have to settle your claim as when due. That area is what the insurance company need to look at so that at the end of the day, Nigerian public will have confidence, because confidence is very important. If they don't have confidence in you, how will they buy your product? The confidence is very important, and I've been stressing this time without number. And until we do this will be very difficult for Nigeria insuring property, because generally in insurance, everybody just believe motor insurance is the only insurance business. No, motor insurance came into being because of what we call a Third Party Act of 1945. That act says if you have a car, if you cannot cover it for comprehensive, you cannot cover it for fire and theft, you must be able to cover it for third party act. Therefore, I was telling Stevens, yes, you are in a Rolls Royce, fine. But somebody in a Volkswagen, by hook or crook, he ran into a Rolls Royce with a Volkswagen. He's not having insurance. But The act now say anybody wherever you are, you must have a minimum of third-party insurance. Even in Nigeria, some people are not even doing that. They go to all this road side insurance until such a time we're able to get rid of it, put professional in place, like you are saying, good engineer, good architect, good everything, that everything will work. And this is very important. Therefore, that one is just the idea that all the Nigeria Insurance Association, NCRIB, loss adjuster, they are putting head together. But as far as the radius of business construction is concerned, there's no yardstick. The most important thing is just to know what the location is. Here in Dubai, for instance, you have high-rise building like Paramount, Dubai Paramount. You have about almost 4 buildings on the same location. You understand? The location is such that insurance covers it. The only thing is they always try to see in case there is an incident, in case there is fire from one of the buildings, can it spread to other buildings? That's the idea. And that time too, that's why a professional broker should be there, because they'll be able to talk to the contractor, they'll be able to talk to the developer, that if you want to have this construction, this is the way it should be, just for the purpose, in case there is fire in one of the buildings, it will not affect the other one, so that they know they have a limit of liability in one particular premises. So there's no hard and fast rule in what they are doing.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Salahuddin. I think there's one part. You also asked that who pays the premium when it comes to insurance? Who pays the premium?
Of course, now, I mean, if you want to go to a restaurant, you eat. You will pay your food, for your food. You pay for your food now.
Is it the developers or the contractors? That's
yes,
yeah.
Of course. The developer, you see, let me just tell you how it works. Like I was just telling you. Tima is there. You know, that's an example. Once he came to us, the mall say we are going to arrange this insurance. I said, no, that is not the responsibility of signature. That is the responsibility of Tima. Tima had to do all these insurances. It has nothing to do with us. It depends who. You see, when you have a contractor or risk, you see, you have to understand something. A developer is the umbrella of everything. If as a contractor, the developer will mandate that contractor that he want to see the insurances in place. It's only in Nigeria. Nobody touches anything without insurance. I'm telling you.
Yes.
America, I mean, Tima, you understand?
I can just add, yes, for example, recently when I did the design for Kiza, they asked me for special insurance because this is a F&B inside a building. Food and beverage restaurant on the first floor above the parking. So I had to do a special insurance for Kiza only for the period, the duration of the project. Exactly. Yes, and also I had to put money as a guarantee in case something happened to the insurance. So besides the insurance, I had to put also a check as a guarantee till I finished Kiza.
Exactly.
But it is important.
Now, and again, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to a restaurant by incident, you eat food and you contaminated anything in the restaurant, and then you are now having a running stomach or something, the restaurant, they are responsible. Therefore, it's a law, it's mandatory that you should have professional indemnity in place. The same thing with doctor. You know, any spectrum of life insurance, you must have it. It's a must. It's a must. It's a must because we are working every day. You are flying from one point A to point B. There must be insurance. Even now, because of COVID-19 in Dubai, they demand that on yourself that you must have insurance. It's a necessity. So people have to understand this. It's not magic. And again, let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Insurance is not about your belief that, okay, God is going to save me. Jesus is, I insure with Jesus. That is not it. If you die, you died already, but you have left your family. Insurance doesn't want your family to suffer. Therefore, if you get a mortgage insurance or you get money from the bank as a mortgage, mortgage bank will demand insurance for you. Without your insurance, they will not give you the loan. They will give you because in case you have mortgage insurance and accident, anybody can die anytime. You don't know. If you die, it's just to ensure that the family left behind, they don't suffer unnecessarily. It's a social responsibility. Therefore, anybody can die at any time, but the provision of insurance is just to make sure that those people we left behind and they don't suffer unnecessarily.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Salahuddin. So we still have a lot of questions, right? Well, let me just try and spread it up little by little. So, Mr. Adeolu, so severally, there are collapse buildings all over the country, yet the regulatory agencies don't get penalized. How do you monitor the regulatory agencies? Can we get more of Mr. Adeolu for regulatory bodies? That's one. Then, I think I have another one again. So, Mr. Adeolu, if you go through Lekki, Ikoyi, and other island areas, there are several high-rise construction ongoing with a small number of staff of the state government. How can the government be able to checklist each building with a limited number of staff that they put out on site? I think I have two questions for you, sir.
Thank you. Questions. One, I will start with the last one, which has to do with the staffing. I think government has enough staff, in my own view, to go through some of the projects. It might be the laziness on the part of the monitoring team and the reporting line to ensure that the officers that are going out are reporting properly to their senior colleague to inform them on what is going on their project. And again, the human character can come in terms of the corruption that we have mentioned. When these officers go to the site and they were induced, they tend to turn their face or their faces to what is happening on site. And perhaps they will not even come back to that site anymore because they have been induced. So in my own view, I don't believe that government don't have enough staff because I've interacted with them on so many occasions. I believe they have enough staff to go around. Then in terms of this first question that has to do with the
regulatory, like there are a lot of collapse buildings all over the country.
Yes, in terms of the regulation, regulation is not static, as I think it's dynamic based on the events that are unfolding. There's always room for government to review their policies and review their procedures in terms of project monitoring. Like Dr. Stevens said, it is very important to create that synergy between the practitioners and the government agencies at all times to look at the issues and provide solutions in terms of this prevention that we're talking about. So government regulation will always be there. As an institution, they will always provide those regulations. And it's also important for the both the officers of government and the practitioner not to circumvent those regulations. Because the most important thing that I've noticed is that Nigerians do have laws, but violating the laws based on your connection, your contact in government corridor, are always be the challenge. Then let me quickly say this: the issue of insurance. The most important problem we have is because of the attitude and the behavior of the real estate developers or real estate practitioners. If we go through the traditional practice of contractor-client engagement, you agree with me, sir, Dr. Salahu, that we have a standard form of contracts in Nigeria and all over the world. This contract make provisions for insurance as part of the preliminaries, that the contractor must provide contractor all risk insurance and a third-party insurance, especially in JCT 2011, which I'm very, very familiar with. And I know these are the practice when you are engaging a contractor. But the problem oftentimes in Nigerian real estate space is that the real estate practitioners don't engage contractors. They are the ones developing themselves. So it's more or less that they are carrying both the risk. They are carrying the risk of the client. They are carrying the risk of the developer, of the contractor. So, and because they have been getting away from some of these things, they always felt that they can, if you look at they permit me to say this, if you look at the video that go viral of the so-called developer, he said where he's been using developer professionals before, but now he realized that he can do things on his own. I mean, we need to appreciate the input of professionals in this part of the country. I mean, this part of the world. Professionals are trained in certain areas. It's just like Dr. Salami has emphasized. I mean, once you engage a professional insurance broker, it will advise you on so many areas. Even if you are talking of saving money, it will save you money in a way that you will be at rest.
That's right.
You just have to engage professionals. I mean, that's what they are trained for. Like I said earlier, I'm not a doctor. I can't prescribe. I'm not a pharmacist. What I know is construction. I mean, so, I mean, you can't come to me and I will not give you an advice. I also hold you a duty of care. So it's my responsibility to advise you in a way that your investment is safe. So the point is that the practitioners in the real estate sector, particularly, must understand that they need to appreciate professionals. That is the key thing. If you are doing normal contracts, the developer, the contractor and client, you cannot engage Julius Bajad and some other big organization, and they will not provide insurance for you. It's never done. Even as a QS, it's part of what I'm going to look into when I'm doing tendering, because there are procedures in the tendering, there are documents that you must submit. I mean, for you to be qualified for that project. I mean, as part of the bid. So for me, it's basically this profit-driven mindset of the development sector of the real estate. That's the issue. For regular contracts, you rarely see a consultant that will not request for an insurance from the contractor. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Adeolu. Hold on, Tima, before you leave. Tima says she has to go. However, we have one question for you, Tima. Right. So, Tima, can you explain the significance of changing project managers on a particular project? Why is it important to keep changing them?
Okay, not 100% changing it, but let's say rotate the project manager from project to project. First of all, multitasking is a must in any company nowadays. You can't have just one project manager that does only one thing. A project manager should be knowledgeable about different things and different aspects of the site. By rotating that project manager from different areas, there are a couple things that you will avoid or it will be beneficial to you as a business owner. First of all, that interaction with other contractors or suppliers or anything avoids any change in materials, which I have seen in a lot of cases here in Dubai, where people cheat in material. We have products that were materials that was already approved. They go and get similar things that looks like it to change it, and then therefore most sometimes they do robbery or let's say commission or something. So some of the project managers, of course, if they're not ethically correct or professional, they will do that. So avoiding that then you change the project manager from time to time, or you have another person that comes and inspect the material before it goes to the next stage. So this actually, I've learned this from the Chinese when I was working with them in Huawei project, and I think they're very effective. They control the project from different aspects. Every time you have inspections, not even a phone call or some, all of a sudden you have the client or someone representative that come and check the work and check your the construction site or the design. Are you respecting the materials that were selected? Are you respecting the timeline? Are you respecting the site by clearing everything so that the site is properly managed? I think this is great. For me, multitasking is always a must. And training your staff as well. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. There is one last question for you. For people who would like to benefit of knowledge and ideas based on interior decoration, how can they get to take advantage of that from you?
You mean the client? I didn't hear the first part, sorry.
For those who would love to okay, let me read out the question here. So the question is from Harold Johnson, and the question goes thus: Madam Tima, how can I be a benefit of knowledge and ideas you have in interior design?
Okay, first, I've besides school, I used to ask my teachers when I was in school to go with her to the site, wherever site she has, and I worked for free for almost like during my school time for 4 years. Every construction site, or when she goes to see suppliers, so that I don't know if this is helpful, but I've always learned something new, and I've always asked people I need to know. I would like to learn, and even in my career now, after I graduated and I had an experience working for an architect in Venice, I came here. I always take new certification, new thing, new material. So I always keep myself updated. And of course, design, you have to have it within you and love it if you really want to come up with ideas. If you love design, I think then just write down your ideas and develop yourself, learn softwares, learn different things, try to even volunteers, give back to the community. If you're a student or you're freshly graduated, don't expect people will come and give you a salary and a job and here you go. Nothing, is presented in a gold plate, but you have to go and just learn from different ones, either schools or either even there are some charitable companies throughout the world that you can travel with them, and then you can go to different sites and you will learn, and this will give you experience in learning.
Amazing, thank you so much. Thank you. I think I would like to leave. I know you have a meeting you need to catch up with as possible.
All right. Yes, so you can also drop your contact, right? You can drop your email for people to reach out to you and social media platforms to connect with you. So I'm sure people can reach out to you also. So everyone can drop that as well so we can cover some other things. So we're about to wrap up. So let's just have 1 or 2 more questions for Mr. Adeolu and Dr. Salau. So Mr. Adeolu, is there a need for rates of deformation monitoring for high-rise building? How often can it be done to avoid another building collapse?
I think it's very important to monitor the progress of projects. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
I said it is very important for high-rise building, particularly to be monitored by both the developer with his own internal or external consultant, then also for the government to also be part of the monitoring team. And I also believe that at every stage of the development, especially the structural aspect, there should be a sign-off. There should be a sign-off from government to ensure that, yes, the material used is complied with what the designer has submitted with the government. The concrete test is done and the result is in line with what the engineer has designed for. So for each stages of this construction, the government should be aware and should be properly informed. Even if there are issues along the line, then the professionals will know where the issues are coming from and how to better tackle it, because it's often time that the developer might have a change of mind, like Michael has said earlier. After probably has seen something in Dubai, you want to quickly bring it to Nigeria. So you want few things to be changed in the design. They must ensure that that foundation is designed for such variation of new concept that they are trying to bring in. They must ensure that the load that is the new instruction, the new scope is given, is in line with what the building can, the foundation can take. So it's given is very important. It's only part of this world I've seen that there is no that progressive monitoring. It is very, very important, especially on high-rise. It is quite important. There's nowhere in the world that you'll be doing an high-rise build project. And in fact, not only the government, you see, you have to bring in different agencies of government when it comes to high-rise, like the fire agencies has to come in. They have to look at it. Look at the case of fire, how do we assess, how do we provide such? And these are part of the thing that insurance we also want to look at. it's not just the stability of the building alone, but even the occupancy at the occupancy stage. They want to look at how functional the spaces are. How is it accessible and all the rest? So this must be thoroughly assessed before the building is even approved. So I think it's given.
Okay, thank you so much. I have one more question for you, and this was for you and Sima, but she has to go. So architects are so much concerned about their designs, not minding the workability of the structure. I remember you talked a little about people, architects having designs and not looking at what is going to be workable or not. So I want you to explain how we can sensitize architects to always consider structural aspects of the building while designing.
Well, I would like to be a bit more careful in the word, the use of the word architect. I mean, the trained architect knows that his design must work and it must be buildable. I mean, that is what we call collaboration. There must be a design collaboration between the structural engineer and the architect before a building can finally sign off. My years of practice, I mean, there is no way an architect would design that the engineer will not offer his own advice in terms of the structural elements and the stability of the project. That's why I said in my initial presentation, in my first presentation, that real estate should engage a professional and experienced architect, experienced professional generally on their project. If you are doing bungalows, yes, you can try to use that to train, I mean, the younger ones. But when you are doing a complex and high-rise project for that matter, I mean, in order for insurance for you to have a very low premium on your project, insurance company want to look at the personnel, the professionals that are working on your project. I mean, they'll be more comfortable when they see experienced professional, you know, coming on board. I mean, and that you can use that to negotiate your premium, because what you are paying experienced professional is also premium, because you are paying them for their experience. So there must be a synergy across the board, not only the engineers, the structural engineer alone, even including the interior designers. You must bring interior designers at a very early stage of your project, because sometimes they offer and provide solutions that might add to your dead load on the project, which engineer may have issue with because of the concept they are trying to bring into the facade or the interiors of the building, you know, trying to, you know, impress the users or the occupants. So building is a complex business, in my own view, that every professional play their own role. And for any developer to actually want to make name and make it in a way that, I mean, the society will respect him, you must engage people who are qualified to handle your project. For me, any architect that is not ready to collaborate with other professionals is not a well-trained architect. It's not well-trained architect. The design is not all about the 3D. It's not all about how beautiful the 3D is. It is the buildability that is important. That's my own view. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Adeolu. So I have one more question for Dr. Salahuddin, where I'm just going to couple a lot of questions together. We had like 2 people say you should give them contact of insurance companies that they can make use of Nigeria. But I believe that your company already handles that, right? Yes, and someone else said something about how can we ascertain that the insurance companies in Nigeria are capable of handling such projects, and how can they ensure and enforce their own policies in Nigeria? So I think what the person is trying to say is knowing the capability of insurance companies. So I think at this point, you just talk a little more about your company and how capable you guys are.
Well, thank you. I will introduce my company once again, but let me say something which is very key. Adeolu, Mr. I mean, whether you are Mr. your first name, which one is your first name?
We're just calling Adeolu. I'm okay with that. Adeolu
Okay.
is the surname anyway.
The Adeolu is emphasizing certain things which is very key, and what that is very necessary to understand. I told you already when we started, professionals. If you have heart problem, who do you go to? You have to go to a cardiologist. If you have problem with your teeth, you have to go to a dentist. If you have internal problem, you have to go to a hematologist. If you have problem with your skin, you have to go to a dermatologist. You see, all these professionals, they have the way, that is the way they are trained. I just want to emphasize to Nigerians, the challenges they are having is the fact they don't go through professionals. There are a lot of qualified insurance, reinsurance broker in Nigeria. And at the same time, I can assure you, these professionals, they know the insurance company that are viable, risk carrier that are viable. They know them. We know them. There are many of them. But if you are going through backside, you don't want to use professional, like a layman say that he doesn't use professional. How will you not use professional? How will your this thing be stable? No. It doesn't make any sense. Professional in all area has to be used. If you don't use professional, it's bad. And let me explain again the role of an insurance broker as an intermediary. They are just intermediary to advise you very well. Of course, I know some of these people play games, but life is easy in Nigeria now. You can employ the service of a broker. The premium they are bringing, pay your premium direct to the insurance company, so that the broker will now be left with your professional services. And like I don't know what you're explaining, if you have a good engineer, you have supervisor, you have everything, your premium will go down. That is the issue.
Exactly.
Please, I want us just to understand that Nigeria is a fantastic place, but we are not doing things right. And until we start doing things right, it is very difficult for us to progress. I pray, because Nigeria is a fantastic, it's an excellent place, because God has blessed us so much. We are so blessed. And like I told some people, when I was awarded Titan of Africa for the commemoration of Dubai Expo 2020, the politicians, they will not allow us to rest. Let us leave politics for the politicians.
Yes, exactly.
And like Stephen said, let we private people come together, whatever they are doing. They like to take glory, but that's not our business. We want to live a good life. We cannot continue like the way we are living. Now, somebody was asking whether the insurance company in Nigeria, they are capable. They are capable. They are far than capable. They are capable. But let me just explain to you insurance mechanism. Something the public you don't know. There is what we call reinsurance program. Reinsurance. Reinsurance has nothing to do with the public. An insurance company is required to accept risks within its capacity. Therefore, reinsurance has a lot of things to put in place. Most of these underwriters, when they accept risk, for instance, a 21-story building, the value is so enormous. Only one single insurance company cannot handle it. What will that company do? The company will determine what capacity in case of total collapse of the building, take what it can afford in case of insured event, then the excesses passes to the insurance treaty. The insurance treaty will take care of that. For instance, there is a new company in which I'm a director, FBS Re. It's a new company. We want to change the scenario of insurance in Nigeria. So people like professional insurance take care of this. Therefore, to answer the question, the insurance companies in Nigeria, they have the capacity. And not only that, the regulator, which is National Insurance Commission, look at every insurance account every year. They look at what is their reserve. They look at how they are running it. They look at, are they settling claim? Of course, there will be one or two bad eggs. I don't deny that. But all the same, there is that capacity for Nigeria insurance underwriter, and things will continue to be better if people can just have their insurances placed through a professional insurance broker. Therefore, to answer that question, Nigeria insurer can handle any risk, starting from oil and gas, marine and aviation, contractor risk, personal accident, name it. Everything is fine in Nigeria, to be honest with you. That's what I can confirm. I think that question is, which other, what was the second part he was asking? What's the second part?
The second part was asking for insurance companies that can take it up, which definitely you can take it up. So I think the next phase is just...
No, it's okay. I mean, well, as far as we are concerned, like I said, the standard insurance consultant, we have been providing insurance solution since 1980. And we thank God we have been successful. Not only we provide insurance in Nigeria, we provide insurance and reinsurance. We're experts in reinsurance as well outside Nigeria. We pay so much attention in settlement of claim as when due. And like Adeolu said, you look at it very well. A good insurance broker will be able to make sure that your premium that you are going to pay to the underwriter is lesser. And over the years in the renewal, if your claim experience is getting better, they'll be negotiating for you a reduced amount. And I told you already, insurance business, like even the real estate, unless on special occasion, is on a non-fee basis. Because by tradition, century, it has been like that. The remuneration of broker is being paid by the risk carriers. Therefore, anybody going to an insurance broker, you have nothing to lose. In fact, you have a lot of things to gain. Therefore, my personal advice is that Nigeria should beef up. Let them go to the best. Okay, look what Adeolu has said. You can see that his farm is very good. The policy he's having is good. If he's advising anybody and that person is not taking advice, he will watch out off his hand. Yes, because that is credibility. You have to have a company that is credible to work for you. That's it. Our website is there. My name is there. Everything is there. If you want any insurance, we are ready to provide advice. In fact, in Dubai here, we have insurance brokerage business. You can imagine the due diligence we will have gone through, because Dubai is not just a place like Nigeria. There's this wuru is not as much as anywhere. Our company is here. We are starting insurance. We are starting insurance. And the insurance business is an international in nature. So that's the thing. Therefore, anybody who wants to contact us, if you want to know good risk carrier, we know them. In fact, it's one of our points that we arrange insurances. Therefore, people can talk to me. But don't forget too, Business Day, they have nominated Standard Insurance Consultant as the Insurance Broker of the Year 2021. The event is coming up tomorrow in Nigeria. Our professional team will be there. I will be, inshallah, in Dubai. I will not be able to come to Nigeria, but all the same, I will be duly represented. So I will just appeal to our listeners, anybody that can watch this transmission in live, you can watch it tomorrow. I understand the event is 6:30 for 7 o'clock at an hotel. What is the name of the hotel? Well, I can't remember, but you can find out. I will tell Abu to tell you. So you listen to it. So it'll be very interesting. I mean, to have the Insurance Broker of the Year by Business Day. So thank God. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much. I appreciate this and I enjoy it. Then Stephen, thank you. So I'm sure you are enjoying Tanzania. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah.
So we're wrapping up very soon. Let me just read one or two comments. Then we ask Mr. Michael Raj the final question and we close for the day. We take closing remarks from Abisola. So Jumoke Kazim says government should step up their responsibility of enforcement of professional standards and make it difficult for people to progress with projects if they don't have resident professionals as part of their project team. This will go a long way. Right? And she's saying again that a long way in stemming future building collapse occurrences, right? And yes, so the question I have for Mr. Raj, considering the use of underpinning to correct foundation of building, can you advise adding to a structure story, which was not initially planned for? My added comment to this again is that I think this is just another factor of scope creep, which I think is related to the building collapsing, whereby you go for a five story initially and you make it a 21 story. So my other question is, how do you handle your years and wealth of expertise? How do you handle scope creep that cannot even tend to, that cannot materialize? How have you been able to deal with this in the past? Mr. Raj. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, fine. You see, yeah, the increase in stores, right, for the foundation. It is possible, but it is not to a maximum limit. It is possible upon analyzing the approved design, which was submitted to the Dubai municipality, and checking the constructed stories. And meanwhile, if you want to increase, we have to check the factor of safety, and it cannot be the concrete structure. It is limited to some certain stories only. We can go for the pre-engineering structure, and based on the pre-engineering structure, we can go for certain more limits for the high-rise building, because if the foundation is a pile foundation, those designs, it is freezed. We cannot raise the stories as we want it. But for a small foundations like low-rise building, like strap footings, raft footing, strip footing, we can strengthen the column with certain plates, metal plates as per the design, and we can strengthen the beam. And based on that, we can divert the shear from one place to one place, and we can introduce any new foundation from the internal side or towards the peripheral side. And those things also, we cannot go very high, very much stories, maximum 2 to 3 stories, because with the consideration of factor of safety and as well as a certain limit only. Because otherwise everybody will start constructing with the existing foundation. This is the only thing I can tell.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Michael Raj.
Yeah.
I hope everyone's questions have been answered so far. Right. So let me just read the final comments. And Abisola, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so you can take it away. So the final comments I have here is, yeah, Dr. Ahmed, can you please organize a seminar on insurance policy for some insurance companies to know their roles and mechanism if risks may occur on any project? And also someone is asking for an email address so you can have more discussions. So please, can all the panelists type in their email address and possibly social media contacts so people can connect with you beyond this platform, please? So Abisola.
Yes, thank you so much, Farouk. You've done an excellent job, and a big thanks to all the speakers, from Dr. Hamed Salawuddin to Tima Jeba to Michael Raj to Adeolu, Adewale, and also to Dr. Stephen Akitayo. We really appreciate you, because I even had to invite some speakers at a very short period of time, and they showed up. They've enlightened us, educated, giving us a lot of information, because this is what we are supposed to pay for, and we are learning all this at no cost. So a big thanks to the organizers of this event, and also the speakers. I'm going to leave it on to, I can see Martha here, that's Omole branch manager. She should lead us in the closing prayer while we end this event. Hi, Martha. Hi. Yes. Okay. Shalawale is trying to unmute. I think we can do that. You guys are still muted. Kindly unmute, please. Yes. So, Martha, we can't hear you. I don't know, Farouk, can you hear her?
Yeah. No, I can't hear.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Michael Raj.
I can't hear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much, Abisola. It's nice to have you all here. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for this awesome training. I've learned a lot. And Heavenly Father, we thank you. We appreciate your holy name. Thank you for these moments. We bless your name, and we pray that the purpose of us gathering here today will never be in vain, in the name of Jesus. We thank you for all that you have done, and we pray that whatever we've learned here today, we will implement it, and it will favor us in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving us this opportunity to gather here today. For in Jesus' most wonderful name, we have prayed. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Well, thank you for joining us all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all.
For the opportunity.
Namaste.
Looking forward to see you guys in GTech.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.